So hello everyone. In this video we are going to discuss about the mechanism of broadcast writing. So it is very important that you as a reporter, as a broadcast reporter, need to know the difference between the print media writing and the broadcast media writing. So broadcast media writing is more of technicalities. It consists of different technical staff while writing a broadcast copy. When you are within a broadcast studio room, you will find that you will have to deal with different technical objects, and then those technical objects are very much associated with the copy that you are writing. And this is what makes difference, and this is what the only difference that what you we have learned about the print media writing. And that is why it becomes important in order to know that where does the line of difference lie of print media writing and broadcast media writing. So the entirety of mechanism in broadcast writing, it depends upon different technical elements. And when I say technical elements, uh, there are obviously technical objects within a broadcast studio room that you have observed while watching any news within a news studio room. And along with that, there goes your copy, there goes your script, and that script must be following the technical the technical objects. They must also be in parallel to the technical observations that you find within a newsroom studio. So we will explain all these things in detail. We will discuss, we'll try to understand what are these technical objects and what how it is related to the copy that you're writing for broadcast media. So in my following slides you will get to understand it, that what are the actually necessities that a broadcast media reporter needs. So the very first thing that as a broadcast media writer, I believe they begins the very day with a slug. Now what is a slug? A slug, it gives a gist of the entire story that you are going to report on that very particular day, and you are sending that slug to your editorial desk. So when I say that it gives you the gist of the story, it doesn't mean that it consists of an entire paragraph. It is only a word or two that will give, or that will just identify the story, identify the nature of the story that you are going to report. And by following that slug, the editorial desk, the editorial members, the senior reporters, the sub editors, they prepare a list of stories for that day, and there includes your slug. So the very day for a broadcast media reporter begins with uh, a slug. It is different broadcast media industry have different uh, way of preparing their slug. So this is one of the format that one of the sample of a format that I tried to explain in this slide. You will find, for example, you as a reporter, you have come to know that there is a this popular actor who was murdered the last night, and you have already prepared, you have already decided that okay, today let me go with this story. So the very beginning, you begin your day by sending a slug to your senior reporter, to the sub editor, to the editorial desk, that okay, actor murdered. So you do not at that very moment, you do not have to explain every detail, or you do not have to decide that to in what angle you are going to follow that story. That will come later, that will come later. But the very first thing that you need to do is to inform, and this is an identification of the story that the editorial board, they get it. This slug also consists of not only the gist, but also the time, the date, So the time indicates when it is going to play. So that means this story is preferably, written or reported for the prime time 9 p.m. news. So that time must be indicated by the reporter in their slug. The reporter must also include the date of the incident occurred and reporter's own name. It must be followed by reporter's own name. His or her initial is enough for that. So this is how a slug looks like. This is how, or this is what a slug consists of. So it basically, the as I said, that the identification, how a word or two, or it may be more than two, but not exceeding say 5 words, but generally it only consists of a word or two. That is the perfect slug. In a slug you should not explain the everything. Many reporters, from my experience that I have observed, they give a slug by putting the very lead of the news. So they already made up their mind that this will be the lead of the story, but it should not be like that. So you should only try to identify the story, informing your editorial member that this is a particular incident that I'm going to report. You do not have to show them or explain them, or just you do not have to write the lead at that very moment, because at any moment your news may get different angle, right? So you just have to inform that, okay, this is the subject that I'm going to work on today. Now, apart from this slug, okay, let's also discuss this, why it is so important, why slug is so important, why do we say that, okay, a broadcast reporter begins his day with a slug. It is important, just as I said, the identification of the story. It informs the editorial members. Moreover, it also locates the story. The location of the story is decided by the editorial member, as in when the editorial desk gets the slug from a reporter. So they decide that, okay, this particular story is going to be located in this time slot, in that time slot. So prioritizing the news, prioritizing the story, it depends upon the slug that the broadcast news reporter sent to the editorial desk. Slug is also important in order to keep the information updated, in order to aware the each and every member of the editorial desk that this is how the story is developing. So the entire day the editorial member will only look upon the updated information that this slug is getting. They are not interested in the entire story. They will only look into the story at the very end when they are going to telecast that story. And by then there will be different decisions to be taken, that from which angle this story must be telecasted. But till the story is telecasted, till the story is broadcasted, the slug will get updated. The slug will get, it will try to find out some more angles. So every time the reporter, every moment the reporter have to keep they have to keep their eyes, ears open for the story. What are the developments that is going on, that is taking place? So this is about updating the entire editorial desk about the information of this particular story. Thirdly, why slug is important. Once the slug is sent to the editorial desk, it doesn't mean that that slug is being identified by only one member of that news media, of that news studio. That slug is being tagged, or it is being now open for each and every member within the news studio room. They could Now from everyone, from senior reporter, from sub editor, from news anchor to the presenter to the news managing editor, right, they all just try to see the development in that particular story, and they all together decide, okay, this is the best angle we can broadcast this story about. So decision transparency for the story is available. While giving your slug, while a reporter gives a slug, he is also very much aware of that, okay, whatever I'm going to report, that may not be going in that way, because there are so many people looking up over the, the development of the story, because you have put the slug and you are also updating about the slug every moment. So this is why slug is important. It brings, transparency, decision transparency. It keeps updating the information about the story. It also quickly locates the story within its own important slot. So which slot to be given to this particular story. All these things are decided, and all these things consist of the importance of the slug. Now let us also try to understand how does a copy, how does a, broadcast copy, while we write a broadcast copy, how does it look like at the end? How does it look like? So when a news presenter or a anchor sits for broadcasting that news, how does it look like? It looks like, a page. It looks like a page in a teleprompter, where you will find that, okay, that page is splitted into, into two parts. One part is about the video description, that will tell you about the video description. Another part, it tells you about the audio description. So the audio description is basically the script, and the video description, it consist of some technicalities. For example, here in the slide that I have put here, this is an example how the video description, or what are there may be more technical hints that are given in the video description, but these are the basics. For example, Parker is the reporter, and then MS means the medium shot, Z2 means the, the zoom switch. So the medium shot is set by the zoom to switch. And then V3 means the video 3, that means the camera. So this is the camera where the anchor is going to look into while broadcasting the news. And at the below there will be the name of the media industry, that's like BBC News. So this is about a split page. So this is how the script, the final, the final lookup of the script looks like, when it is being posted into the teleprompter opposite of the news anchor or the presenter. So it divides a news script into two vertical columns, as we can see that. And the script part, the audio description part, it indicates a very concise writing. So yeah, we will discuss about that more in the following slides. We'll come to know. But yeah, one should know that this is also one of the technical thing that we should be aware of as a broadcast reporter, if we are going to work as a broadcast reporter. So these are very basic things, but we should know that, for example, punctuation. So while reporting, or while writing a script for a broadcast media, it is very important that some traditional punctuation is avoided, because you are writing a script not for a paper which is not going to be published. You are writing a script which another news anchor or presenter is going to read aloud, right? So it is very important that things should be very clear, where should you pause and where you should not. So some traditional punctuations that creates confusion among the news anchors or the presenter. So those punctuations must be avoided in order to avoid the confusion. For example, comma, the traditional punctuation, it is used for pause, but sometimes it is also replaced by dash, which is again, if someone gives a dash in the copy, then some presenter or reporter might think that okay, this is about a longer pause. So this longer pause must not be used in while, because they do not use a news. You can find that a news presenter or news anchor for broadcast media, they do not, while they speak, they do not pause for a long time, right? So this dash should be avoided. We should use comma for pause, but we should not replace the comma by dash. So many of the broadcast reporter, they do this mistake by replacing the comma by dash. Then ellipsis, dot dot dot, these are some of the writing style that many of the broadcast writers, they followed by mistake. So they think that this is also a way to indicate or to hint the reporter that this is about posing. But with in a broadcast writing script, we should not use ellipses because they don't use for posing. These are not used for posing. We should not use semicolons. So these are for essay writing things. So these are for the print media writing. Semicolon, it may confuse the anchors. So these traditional punctuation must be avoided. Now, what do you mean by rewriting the wire copy? So wire copy means a news report for the broadcast media come from any source. It may come from any source. So you do not take that copy just like that and read aloud, right? So before presenting it or before giving it to the news presenter or anchor to read it aloud on the television screen, it is very important that one who writes the copy, he should rewrite that wire copy. That wire copy may come from different news agencies, that or that news writer may have received that copy from a reporter, ground reporter, but he should make it sure, he should make it sure that okay, I will rewrite this copy before sending it to the news anchor or the presenter. So while rewriting this wire copy, it is very important that only the information should be rewritten, not the other ornaments that uh, you know an international agency that they might have followed while writing a story. Basically they write for the print media, but basically they share information. So that information you need to pick it out from there, and then you will have to discard the other ornaments associated with that writing piece. And the very common thing, and I should say that every broadcast writer should follow, they should read the wire copy, digest it, and then discard it in order to write on their own. Because until and unless that wire copy is in front of you, you will always try to replicate that. You'll always try to, some of the words, some of the sentences, you'll always try to copy that. So it's good, it's better if you first read out the wire copy, understand it, digest it, and then you just you know throw that page out. You made your own copy from your own memory, from your own understanding what you have read. So this is one of the technique of rewriting the wire copy. Another is inverted pyramid. So inverted pyramid should be avoided in writing a broadcast copy. While writing a broadcast copy, we do not follow inverted pyramid, what we have uh, discussed while in our class about the print media writing. They do follow inverted pyramid. This is the most efficient and convenient strategy that print media usually follows. But for broadcast media writing, inverted pyramid is not followed because you do not have to deduct anything from the last sentence. It's not mandatory that you'll have to uh, bring the information in descending order. So broadcast copy is very concise. All the information is put in one go, very concisely, in a very lucid sentence, and in a very understanding, so that everyone can get that, right? Conversational style. What do you mean by conversational style? So we should keep in our mind that, we are writing for the ear. As a broadcast reporter, he or she is writing for the ear of the audience, for the ear of the viewers. They are not writing for the eyes, right? So it is one of the element that develops a conversational report. So while we write for a print media, you must have followed that there is an authoritative tone in the newspaper media writing. But this should be avoided while you write a copy for the broadcast media. The authoritative tone, which is also called the anchor voice, it should not seem like, uh, you know, the anchor is the all in all and he is reporting what information he gets. It's not only about reporting the information. It is also, it is about it is about initiating a conversation with the viewers, in initiating a dialogue on the information that the reporter has, that the anchor or the presenter has, or the news media, broadcast media writer has come up in his script. So in that script, the authoritative tone must be avoided, the anchor voice must be avoided. They should not give much importance to the anchor. So anchor must not only report, but they must initiate a conversation. They must try to. So this is how a broadcast media writer must write a script for the news anchor to be, for presenting that particular story to the audience. There are some unneeded words that we generally use for broadcast media writing, and these words should be avoided, and they can be replaced by very 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 small words, like we should not use "an" also. Instead of using that, it's simply we can use "and." Is currently can be replaced by "is." According to can be, you do not have to say that according to the Ministry of Statistical Studies. You just say that the Ministry of Statistical Studies quoted, or the Ministry of Statistical Studies said. That's enough. You do not have to go indirect speech, right? Got underway. So these are some of the words that we should not follow while writing a copy for the broadcast media. Got underway can be replaced by begin. Both he or she is replaced by an. At the corner of can be replaced by at. So these are some of the unneeded words which can be replaced by very short words, right? Replaced with all these short words. There are some more you will find while you search in internet. There are available all these things, but you should keep in mind that this is one of the things that makes the entirety of the mechanism of broadcast media. Now reading the copy aloud, you have completed writing your uh, copy for the broadcast media. Now it's time for the news anchor or the presenter to prepare for presenting that copy written by you to the audience on the television screen. So before doing that, it is the duty of that news anchor or the presenter, or it must be followed by every news media broadcast media presenter, that they read their copy aloud. First of all, they rehearse, because that will give them the understanding how to deliver that news, or how to deliver their language, because that gives them the opportunity to understand where one should give emphasis on which word they should give emphasis and which and where they do not have to, right? So the word should be contracted. So while they read the copy aloud, they comes to know that they come to know that okay, this is where I'm going to pause, this is where I'll be emphasizing more. This can be just, I can just passed across all this information. So this gives the understanding of the entirety of the report, right? It gives the spontaneity, which is also called the flow of the delivery. So the spontaneity of the language must be that must be tested. And it should also, while reading the copy aloud, it also makes one think that okay, the copy is clear enough and the copy is ready to go for the audience. So this is one of the last element that makes the entire mechanism of broadcast media, where we try to impose so many information sometimes, right? And this is very much seen in the print media report. You'll find that in print media, in the very first paragraph, there is an overload of information that uh, makes the readers confused. But as because that is a readable thing, as because that is a thing that one can go back again and then read, one can, they can read it from any angle. They can start from middle, they can start from beginning, they can again read out the last sentence time and again if they do not understand. So they have so much of time to go back to the copy and then read it again in order to understand. But Sam, this is not the case with the broadcast media report, right? This is not the case with the broadcast media copy. So a broadcast media writer must keep in mind that the report that they are going to write or they are writing, it is only for once. So nobody is going to, once it is broadcasted, it will not be it is not possible that the reporter or the news presenter will go back again and will repeat the sentence in order to make people understand, okay, what this is what I'm telling. So this is not possible in case of the broadcast media copy, broadcast media news. So in this slide I've given a particular example of a particular news which is written for both the copy. For example, for the print copy, I'll just read out the story what it is like. You'll just come to know by going through it that how overload of information is being supplied in the print media copy and how that is being loosened in a broadcast media copy. The energy department proposes to spend $2.4 billion next year and up to $3.7 billion in each of the following 4 years to bring the nation's paralyzed nuclear weapon production plants into compliance with environmental and safety laws, according to Energy Secretary Walter Gregg. So this is a single sentence written for a print media copy, and this is not possible if you just read out this sentence on the television screen for your listeners. Then they will not try to get it in one go. They will have to listen it twice, which is not possible for a broadcast copy, right? Once it is in ear, it is in ear, it will not again be repeated. So in order to make it understandable in one go, the broadcast news writer, he must lose, he must try to make the entire paragraph loose. What do I mean by loose? Try to make, try to divide the sentences, try to break the flow of the print media and convert it into the flow of the broadcast media. You will find a difference as you read out the broadcast copy. The Energy Department wants to spend almost $2.5 billion next year to improve the nation's nuclear production plants. See, they have also tried some, common sense that they use their common sense. What they say, that the energy department, they want to spend almost $2.5 billion next year to improve the nation's nuclear production plants. So 2.5, that means $2.5 billion next year to improve the almost 2.5 billion. So they are not very much into the figure $2.4 billion, right? So they are just making it approximate figure, so that the listener, they do not have this, they are not bound to remember the figure what the reporter said. So in broadcast media, they do not compel the reader to remember the figure. Okay, they just make it easy for them to understand. Okay, this much, they just give an estimate of that. So the funds would be used to bring the paralyzed plants into compliance with environmental and safety laws. Energy Secretary Walter Gregg says that the government is willing to spend almost $15 billion over the next 4 years to continue the cleanup and safety checks at the nuclear weapon production plants. So a single sentence written for the print media copy is being broken into 3 to 4 sentences here for the broadcast copy, so that this do not become a burden for the listener. So they makes it easy for the listener, as they and they have made it so simple. They have made it understandable, so that they do not have to again revisit. We know that there is no chance for revisit, but they do not even give that feeling to for the listener. So this is all about the mechanisms of broadcast media writing. So we will again discuss some other topics in our next video. So till then, thank you.